Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Okay, just see this these numbers, and according to this I am going to write my program. Let me just, okay, let it be there. Let me just give some space so that it is visible here. Okay, great, awesome. So what I'm going to do, I will loop through my old image. I'll see the values one by one, see where it lies in these blocks. This is my block number 0, block number 1, 2, 3, 4 and up to 7, where the numbers are lying, and accordingly I will put the pixels in my this new image which I have created correspondingly. I mean, wherever I am getting a number in this image, in my old image, and that in that corresponding place of this new image which I have created, I will put what I am going to assign here. So suppose I get a number at, let's say 3, 2 is 138. 138 lies between 128 to 159, so I'll put 4 at 3, 2 in this new matrix. So this will be my new image. So let me write it down. So I'll write the loop for I in range of image dot size. Size is to get the size of image. 0th is the row number of okay, and for j in range image dot size of I, sorry, 1. Okay, so row and column, I'm going through each row and for each column, and then I'll check if the old image is which one, the pixel map. This is the old image which I have loaded in pixel map. So if pixel map, okay, of I comma j is greater than equal to 0, so I'm checking for the first block. If the number which I'm iterating through, okay, is greater than equal to 0 and okay, let me write this pixel map I comma j, and it is greater than 0 and it is less than equal to 31. It means this particular cell value lies between 0 to 31. If it is the case, then you write the pixel new ij as I comma j as what? You will put 0. Okay, let me just I'm going to use this line again and again. Let me just copy this. Okay, so I'll just put rather than else if it is not in the first block, that value is not lying between 0 to 31. If it is lying between 32 to what, 63, then put what, 1. Copy this because this is our else if part. I'll put here else if it is not even in the second block. So if it is lying between 64 to what, 95. 95 is our third block. I'll put 2. Okay, and if it is not there, then if it is between 96 to 127. 96 to 127 is my fourth block, so I'll put 3. Okay, and if it is not there but it is between 128 to 159, then I'll put 4 there. Okay, and if it is between, if it is not there but in between 160 to 191, then I'll put 5 there. And if it is not there but in between 192 to 2 to 3, 2 to 3, I'll put 6 there, 6 there. And if it is not there, then at last, the last thing which I have to check is if it is between 224 to 255. It must be there. That's it. My work is done here. So I've created this new image. I have mapped all my blocks to my original, to whatever I wanted to, so that I can reduce the size. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'll just save this image with the command image.save. Let me write the name is lena_2.jpg. Okay, and I'll see the matrix also. So here I saw the matrix as, where did I write? Oh, I removed it. Oh, let me write it again. So J, let me write it at J numpy dot as array and image dot, I don't need to open it, I can just, I already opened it there, but it's okay. lena_2.jpg. So I will see this new image as an array and how it is looking. Okay, so my program is complete. Let me just run it. Great. So I've saved it. Let me just check this J. You can see all these values have been mapped accordingly. If you see this array, let me show you. 135 was where? 135 was lying between 128 to 159. Hence the 4 is written. So all these values, if you see, it is lying between 128 to 159. That's why I have mapped it with 4. So the mapping has been done, and I have saved the image as lena2.jpg. So I'll go to my folder and I'll see the image. You can see it's looking black, but it's not exactly black. So I'll open it, and you can see that some part it's actually visible. The image is exactly same. If you look at the image here, you can see the image is exactly the same image. If you see the boundaries, if you see the face, eyes and everything is same. It's just that we are trying to represent a 8-bit image into 3-bit image. That's why so much we have lost. We have lost a lot. It's looking, approximately everything is looking black, but still you can see the image, linings, all the edges, all the other things are exactly the same. So this is compression, and if you see the size of first image was 42 KB, this is just 4 KB, 4.86 KB. We reduced a lot. Okay, so this is one type of compression which you can achieve through just this simple naive method. There are a lot of tons of method for image compression, and it is still a hot topic. People are still working on this compression technique. So if you see that these image formats, for example JPG, JPEG, these are all also compression techniques and how to represent an image in a very efficient way, so that it takes less time but the quality is not compromised. So this we just wanted to give you an give you a motivation of image compression and compression in general. That's why we showed this example. You can check out different algorithms for compression, and you can even discuss about those algorithms in the discussion forum, so that we can give you inputs, and also we can learn about that. So this was just to motivate you guys how you can see how it is simple to see these things through the first principle and achieve such kind of things. So it looks like that compression is what exactly is going on with the compression. When we do the zip and RAR of some files, then we see that the size of file reduce, and we just copy it or we just send it on email, but we don't understand what exactly is going on. So these simple methods are actually used in the background to compress those files. So image compression is a very hot topic, and there are very many ways through which you can compress the image. And actually people see the way people study the way we perceive image, and based on those studies they do the compression, and it has been very successful venture through this. So please discuss about this technique in the discussion forum, and please ask question if you have any. Thank you.
So we are coming to the fag end of the course, and I need to note something. We have tried sowing roughly 24 saplings so far as different joys in computing, and these saplings will grow onto trees. By that I mean we have only introduced the concepts the naive way. In fact, for every single concept that we have taught, there is an advanced version. It's for you to look into it, and of course we can help you out if you can ask us for more details. Now, going ahead with the next joy, you all know how WhatsApp works. Ever wondered how to automate it? This very process is called the browser automation. So let's see how you can automate WhatsApp messages by learning this concept called browser automation.
Hello all, welcome to yet another programming screencast of Joy of Computing. This programming screencast is about browser automation. So first of all, let me tell you what is browser automation. As the name suggests, I need to automate my browser. If I need to automate my browser, I should use browser automation. This is very much possible in Python, and this is a very easy task to do in Python. Suppose I open a website and I click on some links. Whatever I do there, I need to automate that. So in order to automate all the things that I do on a website, I need to write a script for it. And this script will use Python, will use the browser automation library of Python. So whatever I'm doing manually here, I need to automate it. How can I do that? Well, Python 2RSQ will be using a library of Python called Selenium. Yes, I repeat, the library is called Selenium. So first of all, let us install Selenium library. So please open your terminal window and write pip install Selenium. So I'll be doing that. I'll just write pip install Selenium, SELENIUM. Okay. So I'll just click enter. Since I have already installed Selenium library, it is showing the output as requirement already satisfied. So I'll request all of you to install it. I have already installed it, that's why it's saying requirement already satisfied. So first step you need to do here is to install Selenium library by using the command pip install Selenium. So now that we are done with installing the Selenium library, there is one more requirement that you need to install here. So there are different web drivers available for different browsers. For example, if you are using Google Chrome, there is a separate WebDriver. If you are using Safari, there is a separate WebDriver. And if you are using Firefox, there is a separate WebDriver. So what you need to do here is you just go to Google and you type installing WebDriver for Chrome. I'll be using Chrome here, so I'll use the Chrome driver here. The WebDriver for Google Chrome is called Chrome driver, so I'll just write Chrome. So there are different links here. So go to the download section. We have the Chrome driver here. I'll just click here. Please download the latest version of the Chrome driver, and it is 2.42. If I'll click here, it will download the concerned WebDriver for Chrome. Since I've already installed it, I'll not install it. I have shown you the way how can you install a WebDriver for Chrome. Similarly, you can install WebDriver for other browsers. If you are using Safari, you can download that for Safari too. And if you're using Firefox, you can download for Firefox too. I'll just show you. So you just need to go to Google and you now need to type install WebDriver for Safari. I'll say Safari. So in the download section, you have the different web drivers for Safari too. So you can download the Safari WebDriver too if you are using Safari. So please keep this fact in mind. There are different web drivers for different web browsers. So you need to install the respective WebDriver for the web browser that you are using. So now we are done with the installation process. First of all, we installed the Selenium library that is used for browser automation in Python. And then we also installed the WebDriver, which is also used for browser automation. So I request all of you to install these two things before proceeding to the programming screencast. Welcome again to the programming screencast of browser automation. I hope you have gone through the previous videos and you have installed the two requirements required for browser automation. First of all, you need to install the Selenium library, and second thing, you need to install the respective web drivers for your web browsers. So if you have installed these two, let us go ahead with the programming screencast of browser automation. In this particular programming screencast, I'll be giving you a glimpse of what browser automation is all about and how can Selenium library would help us in doing that. So as in always, I'll import the Selenium library. So I'll just write from Selenium. I need to import WebDriver, import WebDriver. Sorry, it is WebDriver. So if it doesn't show any error, that means your Selenium library has been installed successfully. If it doesn't show any error, that means your Selenium library has been installed successfully. And if it does show an error, that means you need to check whether your Selenium library has been installed or not. So in my case, it is not showing any error. That means the Selenium library has been installed successfully. After that, I need to initialize my WebDriver here. So I'll take a variable here. I'll just write browser. Browser is just a variable name. You can take any other variable name here. Since I've imported the WebDriver, I'll write WebDriver.Chrome. And in bracket, I need to supply the path of my Chrome driver. I repeat, I need to supply the path of my Chrome driver here. In my case, I have installed the Chrome driver in downloads. So I'll just go to downloads and click get info here. So here I have the path of Chrome driver. So I'll just copy this and paste here. The name of the Chrome driver is Chrome driver -2. So I'll just write Chrome driver -2. I'll now click enter here. See, this is working. The moment I initialize the WebDriver, it is opening the Google Chrome web browser. So it depends on your web driver, whatever web driver you have installed. If you initialize that particular web driver, it will open your respective web browser. In my case it was Chrome driver, so it is opening the Google Chrome window here. So now we are done with initializing the web driver. Web driver is basically used to open the web browser. So I use the web driver to open my Google Chrome window. So next thing what you need to do here is, suppose I want to open a particular website in my Google Chrome web browser. So how can you do that? You will just write browser dot get and in brackets you write the name of that particular website. So here I'll be just opening the website of Selenium library. So I'll just write https://www.seleniumhq.org. So let us see whether it works or not. So as you can see, the Selenium website has been opened there in the Google Chrome web browser window. I'll show you side by side so that you can get a clear idea of how this is working. So here I have the Google Chrome window, and on the right hand side I have my IPython console. So I'll close it again and I'll show you how this is working. Here I have the Google Chrome window and here I have the IPython console. I'll execute this statement again. Since we have already closed the window, it is not working. So I'll again initialize my browser window here. I'll click OK. Now that it has opened, now let me open this particular web page. I'll click enter. So you see that seleniumhq.org has been opened here. You see, I didn't do anything here. I didn't write this particular address in the address bar of my web browser, but it has opened automatically because I have written a script here in my IPython console. So what you need to do here is, first of all, you need to initialize your web driver. After that, you can open any web page using the address of that particular web page. And this is browser automation, and this is called browser automation. So now we are done with it. I'll be giving you 1 or 2 examples of how can you automate your browser using Selenium library. Now that we have opened the Selenium web page, suppose I want to click on this link named download. How can I do that using browser automation? Well, this is very much possible in Python. Let me show you how can you do that. So I'll just go to my IPython console and I'll write a variable name here. It is ELEM is equal to browser dot find element underscore by link text, by underscore link underscore text, and the link text here is download. So I'll supply the link name here, download. It should be same as the link in the web page, and if it is in uppercase you should write it in uppercase, and if it is in lowercase you should write it in lowercase. So I'll just click enter here. So ELEM stores the particular link to download, and now if I write ELEM.click, it should click on the download link. So I'll just click enter. You see the download link has been opened here. So this is very much possible in Python and very much easy to automate your browser. So this is how you can open a particular link on a web page. You just need to use the method find element by link text, and using that you can click on any particular link and you can automate your browser. So we are done with this. Now if you need to write something in this search bar, how can you do that? Well, this is also very much possible in Python. For that you need to double click on your web page and you need to select the inspect option here. Double click on the web page and you need to select the inspect option here. I'll just do that. it will open a window like this, which has elements, console, sources, network. Well, you need not go into the details. I'll just show you. Here in this, you need to know the ID of this particular search bar. How can you do that? As you click on these particular statements, it will show you the concerned area. Here we have the body. Okay, so there I'll click here and it will show me the particular elements present on the web page if I keep on clicking on the statements. So I need to go to the search bar. I'll search the search bar here where it is present. I think it is present here, so I'll just click the down arrow. After that, here it is header. I need to search the header only because the search is it in header bar. I'll just click here. Here I have the ID. No, I need to search the edit page. No, I need to search this search Selenium. Yes, it has come to search Selenium, and here you can see it is showing that label for Q, and here I need to write in this particular text box and its ID is Q. As you can see here, input type is equal to text, ID is equal to Q, and if I take my mouse there, it is showing me that this particular ID corresponds to this particular text box. As you can see, this particular ID is corresponding to this particular text box. So the ID is Q. So I'll just go to my IPython console and I'll write search, that is again a variable name. Search is equal to browser dot. Now I need to find the element by ID. So I'll write find underscore element underscore by underscore ID, and the ID is here Q, simply Q. So I'll just press enter here. So in search I have the text box, and to search I need to send some keys. So I'll just write search dot send keys, whatever I need to send there. Suppose I need to search the download, so I'll just write download. It's send underscore keys download. Let me click enter here. Let us see whether it is working or not. See, it has the download thing written here in the search box. I'll just close it. As you can see, it has the download text written here in search box, and I didn't do anything. I just wrote a script and automated by browser. So as you can see, browser automation is a very easy thing to do in Python, and it is very interesting too. You can do a lot of things using browser automation. This is just tip of the iceberg. So now we are done with that. So I'll just go one by one what we did in this programming screencast. First of all, we imported the WebDriver from Selenium. After that, I initialized the browser variable here in which I supplied the WebDriver path. After that, what we did, we opened a particular web page using the browser automation using Selenium library. After that, we opened a link using find element by link text. After that, what we did, at last we searched for the text box in the inspect element. How can you do that? I'll show you again so that it becomes clear to you. What you need to do, you need to double click on your web page. After that, you need to select the inspect option here. Inspect option, it will show you a window here, and if you hover your mouse, it will also show what this particular element corresponds to this particular element in web page. For example, in this particular case, the body, it corresponds to the whole of web page, and if I click the down arrow here, I have the various elements. I need to search for the search text box. I clicked on dv id is equal to container here. After that, I have different elements. First of all, it is header, then it is embody, then it is footer. as the search box is in header, so I'll just click the down arrow of the header. After that I need to go to the particular text box. So what I do here is I click on this id is equal to search box. After that, as you can see, you keep on clicking the down arrows and you will get this search box. This is the label for the search box. And then if I click here, input type is equal to text and id is equal to q, here it is showing that particular text box. So this is the concerned text box that we are looking for. So its id is q. So we have used the method find element by id, and I have stored this particular element in search variable. After that I sent keys to this particular text box. I sent the text download, and as you can see, it has written that particular text in the search text box. So this is how you can automate your browser, and I'll advise you to explore more in browser automation, as this is a very interesting topic. So in the next programming screencast, I'll tell you how can you automate your WhatsApp using browser automation. Hello all, in the previous programming screencast you saw some interesting things you can do with browser automation. This is clearly a very interesting topic to do in Python. Here in this particular programming screencast, as I said earlier, I'll be teaching you how can you automate your WhatsApp using browser automation. And for that, what you need to do here is, as in always, you need the Selenium library as well as you need the WebDriver here too. We'll be using the web WhatsApp to automate your WhatsApp. So what you can do with WhatsApp automation? For example, if you need to send 100 messages to your friends or to any other particular group, you can do that using Python. You don't need to write the message again and again. You can just use a for loop and annoy your friends using WhatsApp using browser automation. Well, I'll advise you not to do that. Well, I'll be giving you a glimpse of how can you do that using Python. So first of all, let me write from Selenium import WebDriver, as we did in the last programming screencast. After that, you need to import 2 or 3 things here. So I'll just write from Selenium dot WebDriver dot support dot UI import WebDriver wait. After that, you need to import from Selenium dot WebDriver dot support import expected underscore conditions as EC. Next, you need to import from Selenium dot WebDriver dot common dot keys import keys. After that, again one more thing, from Selenium dot WebDriver dot common dot by import by. Next, you need to import the time library. So now that we are done with importing the concerned libraries, so after that I'll just write, I need to initialize my driver, so I'll just write driver. Here I'm using the variable driver. In the previous programming screencast we used browser. Here I'm using driver. In order to show, you can use any sort of variable name. So I'll just write driver is equal to WebDriver .chrome, and as explained in the previous programming screencast, you need to supply the path to your WebDriver. Here I have the WebDriver in my downloads folder, so I'll just write the path here. It's in users Simran Setia downloads, and in downloads I have the Chrome driver, Chrome driver -2. Then I need to open the WhatsApp window, so I'll just write driver.get, and you need to supply the web address here, so I'll just write https://web.whatsapp.com. I'll also write wait is equal to WebDriver, wait is equal to WebDriver, wait driver. It will wait for some 600 time units. And first of all, we will run this and see how the WhatsApp appears magically through this. And yes, your only WhatsApp account will appear in it. How can you do that? Let us see. Let me run it. I'll just write WhatsApp using python.py. So it is basically capital W. So please look at this. This is capital W, not small w. So I'll run it again. It cannot import keys. Keys is again capital K. I'm really sorry for that. As you can see, the WebDriver is doing its job. It is opening the concerned web browser. So let me open it. Awesome. As you can see, you have the WhatsApp window right here in your Chrome browser. You can also see there is a QR code here. So I would request all of you to go to settings in your WhatsApp and then click WhatsApp web/desktop. If you click there, you will get an option to scan QR code. Please click on the scan QR code and scan the concerned QR code here. So I just did that, and as you can see, you will have my WhatsApp window here. As you can see, you have my WhatsApp window here, and what next we need to do here is I need to send some like 100 messages to my friend. So how can you do that using browser automation? And this is very much possible using Selenium. So what you need to do here is, first of all, you need to supply a target. You need to supply a target friend whom you want to send these messages. So I'll just write target is equal to, first of all, you need to write the single quotes, and then in double quotes you need to supply the name of your friend. So I need to send messages to Ravi Kiran, so I'll just write Ravi Kiran, and then you need to write the string, the message that you have to send to your friend. So I'll just write message sent using Python. this is the message that you need to send. So I'll just write the comments here. Enter your friend's name here. Enter your friend's name here. The message you need to send to your friend. You need to send to your friend. So please take care of these two things according to your WhatsApp. After that, what you need to do here is, as in the previous programming screencast, we located the download link. We also located the search text box using the methods like find element by ID or find element by link text. In the same way, in your WhatsApp window, what you need to do, you need to locate the particular message box, the particular message box of your target friend. Here I just wrote Ravi Kiran. So here I have the Ravi Kiran message box. I need to locate this particular message box using this inspect tool. So how can you do that? You just double click here and click on the inspect option. After that, as you can see, you have the different elements and different elements tag here. Now I need to locate Ravi Kiran here. How can you do that? As in always, we'll start with the body. Here we have the body of this particular web page. Then click the down arrow and then click again. As you can see, there is no particular thing for this message box. Here we have the different message box under the span tag. I'll repeat, here we have the different message box in the span tag. And if you have anything in the span tag, how can you locate it? I'll just show you how can you locate a particular message tag, or how can you locate a particular element if it is under span tag instead of div tag. Please note this fact, in the previous programming screencast we located elements that were under div tag, but here we have the different elements located in the span tag. So how can you do that? This is very much simple in the case of span. So how can you do this using Python? So I'll just write a variable here, sx_arg is equal to inverted commas // span, and in span you'll write contains at title. Title is an attribute here, and what title are we looking for? We are looking for the target. So I'll just write target. I'll just close the inverted commas here and I'll write target plus space, inverted commas, then round braces, then square braces. So we are done with it. After that, you need to write target is equal to wait dot until ec dot presence. As you can see, you have the presence of element located. Yes, you need to use this presence of element located, element underscore located. So how you need to locate the element? Using xarg and xpath. So I'll write by dot xpath comma x underscore arg that has been supplied here. Then you need to close the braces. When this is done, you need to click on that particular target. Target.click. This function has already been used in the previous programming screencast target.click. Now we have this target is equal to wait.until ec.presence of element located. So I'll just check it. I think there should be 2 braces, not 1. So what does this function do? This function locates for the particular target which we have supplied in x_arg, and it will keep on locating it until it doesn't find it. So there is a function for it, that is wait.until. We will be using this function to locate that particular target. Now it will click on that particular target. So let us run this program again and see whether it is clicking on that particular friend's message box or not. So it will again give me a QR code. So I need to scan this QR code again. So as my WhatsApp appears, so as you can see, it is not clicking on that particular target. Maybe we did some mistake here. Here we have some mistake. Target is equal to init takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given. So let me check where is the problem. You need to supply 1 extra brace here and 1 extra brace here. So let me run it again. I need to scan the QR code again in order to check whether it is clicking the supplied target or not. Here I have the WhatsApp. As you can see, it has clicked on that particular message box, Ravi Kiran's message box, as you can see on the screen. So it is working. The code till here is working. So what next do we need to do here? After that, now I have clicked the target, and the next thing is to send messages to that target. For sending messages, I need to locate the text box. For sending messages, I need to locate the text box. And in this particular thing, how can we locate the text box? You have various methods like find element by ID or find element by linked text. In this particular thing, we'll be using find element by class. Yes. How can you find element by class? Again, go to your WhatsApp window, then click on inspect. How can you inspect it? So I'll be using that particular method. There it is. There we have the body. Then I'll be clicking here. I need to locate the message box. So how can I locate that? Here I'll click. Here, where is the message box? Yes, I need this particular window. After that, click the down arrow again. No, I don't need it. No, where is the message box? Yes, in footer we have the message box. So click on this down arrow. After that, this. No, I need to locate this particular message box, and then this. So as you can see, it is under class _1p LPP _p LLP. As you can see here, div tab index is equal to -1 and class is this. So I'll be using this particular class to locate the text box. So how can you do that? I'll name it as input box. Sorry, right here. I'll name it as input _box is equal to driver dot find element by class name _name, and you need to supply the class name here. So it is _1 PLPP _1 PLPP. This is how you can locate any particular element using the method find element by class name. So next is I need to send messages. So I'll just type for I in range 50. Let me annoy my friend by sending 50 messages, and then I'll just write input box dot send keys, and in that I should write the string, and after writing the string I should also press enter. So I write keys dot enter, keys dot enter. So I think now we are done with the code. Let me run it and check whether it is working or not. So we have the WhatsApp window here again. Let me scan the QR code again. Now that I have scanned, my WhatsApp window has appeared. So as you can see, I'm able to send 50 messages to my friend Ravikiran. I'm sure he'll be very annoyed with me what I'm doing here. Anyways, I'll explain it. So what cool method I've discovered to annoy him. So in this way, you can send various many messages to your friend and annoy them. I would recommend you not to do that, but it's your wish. So this is how you can automate your browser, and you can make your browser do many things using Selenium and by just writing a script. So now that we are done with it, I'll go through the program again. First of all, you need to import all these libraries here, and I have already mentioned that WebDriver is the library that you need to import from Selenium. After that, you need to supply the path of your WebDriver. In my case, it was downloads, so I just supplied the path of downloads, then Chrome driver 2. This is how you can do it. Next, you need to supply the web address. As we wanted to automate our WhatsApp, so we used web.whatsapp. Then you supplied the wait parameter. If you want your WebDriver to wait, in case of slow internet connection, the web browser doesn't respond sometimes. So this will help in tackling that scenario, the wait parameter here. After that, you need to supply your friend's name, and then you need to supply the message that you need to send to your friend. Next, you need to locate the message box of your friend. In order to locate the message box of your friend, you need to supply the span tag here because it comes under the span tag. Span is basically collection of elements. So you need to locate the particular message box using the attribute title. Okay. After locating that particular message box, you will supply the wait parameter here again. So your program will wait until the presence of that particular element is found or not, and then you need to click on that particular message box. You need to click on that target. Then you need to locate the input box, the text box too. For that, you will be using the div tag. For using the div tag, we have shown you various methods like find element by class name, find element by linked text, and also find element by ID. In this particular thing, we use the class name. In this particular thing, the class name is _1 ELPP. It may be different for you guys. So I have shown you how can you locate a particular element using the inspect tool. You can do that. After that, what number of messages you want to send, you can have a for loop. And then you need to send keys to that text box. First of all, the message that you need to send, and one thing more, you need to press enter after you write the message. So I'll just wrote keys.enter. I just wrote keys.enter. That's how you can press enter in browser automation. So as you can see, we did this, and my friend is actually annoyed with me because I sent these 50 messages to him. So as you can see, we send these 50 messages using browser automation. I hope that this programming screencast was clear to all of you. If you have any problem, please post on discussion forum. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you.
Our next joy is what goes by the name calendar arithmetic. some of us are very bad with calendars. You know what I mean. It's very difficult to note what day it is, what time it is, and assuming you're calling a friend who's staying abroad, you find it very difficult to figure out what time zone is he in and what could be the time there. And is it right to call at this time or not? Correct? So our next joy is going to be exploring what one means by calendar arithmetic.
Hello guys, welcome to this programming screencast on fun with calendars. So in this joy, we'll be answering some questions regarding calendars and time, that is date and time. We'll be answering some questions regarding calendar and time. That is sometimes that may even turn to be tricky as well. So let me give an example to say why do I say it's tricky. For example, just assume that your spouse asks you a question, do you remember the day on which I am born? See, she is very intelligent, she is not asking you the date, because most of the people, what they do is to remember that they would set their password to date of birth of their spouse, something like that they do. So even spouses are becoming intelligent, they don't ask the date on which they were born, they are asking the day on which they were born. If such a question is posed to you, what will you do? As a life partner, you are supposed to remember it. That's what they expect from you. But as a human, it's difficult for us to remember this. And also in India, if you see, it's not just about you and your spouse. It's about a very big family comprising of your family members, your spouse family members, your children, and so on. So this is a very big list if you see an Indian family scenario. So it's humanly impossible for us to remember dates and events that involves these many people. So remembering dates itself is difficult, but in that case, if they specifically ask what is the day, what will you do? Is there an easy way? Can Python help you relieve from such situations? Is there an easy way? Let's explore that in this joy. This is not the only question we are going to explore. We'll be exploring some more cool questions as well. So we'll see them in detail as we go by. So before going, I'll say what are the libraries that we'll be using in this joy that makes our life simpler. So the libraries that I will be using are, you can see the list here. It's calendar, date time, PyTZ. TZ stands for time zone. So this is a hint I'm giving. So just guess what would I be having in my mind of what task can we be doing with Python. And time zone, given the word time zone, what can we be doing? Let's keep this suspense for now. I'll reveal it slowly. And before getting into the actual task, we'll explore these libraries. We'll see some basic tasks that may help you in understanding the tasks that we plan to do with these Python libraries. You'll be seeing the prerequisites that are required for you to do the tasks needed in this joy in the next part of the video.